Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be making our forged carbon fiber part. If you haven't seen the last two videos where we go over how to make the mold and how to make the buck for that mold, I'd suggest going and checking those out. I'll leave a link in the cards for you. Let's get to this. All right, so some of the stuff we're going to need here is going to be our carbon. We're going to need some resin. I got some infusion resin because it's a little bit thinner, so it'll squeeze out of our mold since we don't have really big voids for it to squeeze out of. We have our mold release, some gloves. Yeah, that's pretty much it as far as supplies go. So these are the calculations that I used to get the amount of materials that we're going to need. Pretty much all I did was I took this lid off and I filled this up with water, and I measured how much water is in there in one of these. Then we got 1.25 ounces, which is about 37 cc's. Our carbon fiber density, to get carbon fiber density from our cc's, we multiply by 1.4, which gives us 51.8 grams, about 52 grams. We want a 60 to 40 fiber to resin ratio, which puts us about 31 grams of fiber, 21 grams of resin, and then we need about 1.25 times our carbon in resin, and that gives us a pretty good mix ratio with some leftover as well. So there's a lot of resin that will squeeze out of this mold as we're making the part, so that's why we mix a little bit extra resin. So yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it. I'm just gonna start cutting up this carbon and get ready to mix this resin. So and then also not forgetting to use our mold release in our mold. So I'm going to spray the entire mold with mold release because it's going to ooze out and get everywhere, and I don't want extra resin stuck on my mold. So I'm going to spray the entire thing. Now that we've got all of our carbon chopped, next up, some chemical mold release. Put on 3 coats of that, 5 minutes between each coat, and then we'll mix up some resin. Do 36 grams of this and 10 grams of hardener. That should get us there. All right, next we're gonna start loading our mold here. So we're just gonna start with a little bit of resin. I have a brush here. Just gonna brush it in there, and then we're gonna add our carbon little by little, and then we'll do this piece last, and then we'll compress the whole thing. So yeah, let's see how it turns out. So I'm gonna put a little bit in here and a little bit in here, but yeah, depends on how long this pot lasts. Alright, so now I got everything put on here, and we've got our mold halves together. I got this clamp holding our third piece of mold together. We're going to put this into our vise now. We also have some plastic here to catch any of our resin that drips, because I like my garage floor semi-clean. And we've got these wood plates on both sides, either side. Alright, I guess that's already. Well, now we just have to wait for the cure cycle, which is about 24 hours. So, yeah, I guess I'll see you then when we take it apart. All right, well, here's our mold. It's been sitting for about 40 hours now. I just let it sit a little longer because it's been a couple of cold nights, about 40 degrees outside, and we're in the garage, so it doesn't stay too warm. So, but you can see that it's nice and hard. All of our resin that's down here is nice and hard, and yeah, I think we're ready to pull this thing apart. So first thing we gotta do is get it out of this clamp, and then hope it comes apart well. So you can see right here that a piece of our mold kind of got stuck in our part. So that'll be a problem when we need to make another part. We'll have to work on pretty much recasting this piece, because this one's pretty much permanently in there, so that is not going to be able to be glued back on. So we might have to recast this whole piece again, and then maybe do some refinement work to one of these sides to make it come apart better. So, but overall this piece came out pretty good. We have a little void over here, but yeah, the rest of it looks pretty spot on. All right, so that last one didn't turn out too well, as you saw. It has, this is after it's all been trimmed up and such, but it has that little bit of a gouge there where it's missing some carbon fiber. So I went ahead and I re-poured a second piece for this mold, and we have made a second one since the first one broke. Also the second one broke. So, but we do have a second one here that is nice and fully complete as far as carbon filling most everywhere. So I think that the reason these keep breaking off is because this mold was not made to where this flat piece here was perfectly like parallel with our sides or perpendicular to this piece. So when this mold is coming in and out of here, it's kind of traveling straight, but the piece is at an angle like that. You can kind of see it right there, but this is traveling straight. So when there's something in here and this can't flex at all against the carbon, it just rips it off. I'm not gonna be able to use this bottom part anymore. If I want to redo this part again, I'm just gonna have to re-pour this whole mold. But we have a piece here that we can work with for now. So at least I can finish this and kind of show you the end goal or the end idea of what I had in mind. So yeah, if I ever need to remake these parts, I'm going to just pour a whole new mold. In the future, in the mold, I might pour this bottom piece this way instead of this way, just to have this little shape here, which ends up in right here, in the bottom piece, so it would be here and it would be a little more stable and it wouldn't be as fragile, because this would be part of, you know, over here. So just thoughts for how I might do this again. I don't know that I will, but if I do, I think that's how I'm gonna try it. So but yeah, other than that, let's get to this. Let's get to finish this part. So first thing we need to do to this part is fill in some of these voids. You can kind of see right here we have some voids going on. So I'm just going to mix up some epoxy and we're going to fill up all the little voids. I might do this one too, just to do it, and that way just to have two, because you know, why not. So yeah, let's get to mixing some epoxy and put it on here. All right, well, here is our product after a couple of sessions of sanding and resin. And I think we're pretty good to the point where we can start clearing this thing. So this one, you can see it kind of smoothed out up here. It's not so jagged. So I mean, it's still not really a nice part, but it's kind of like a concept piece, you know? Like, oh, look, this is the idea. So yeah, I think we're gonna hit it one time with this prep solvent. Get this plastic here up so I don't spray my table and all the junk I have over there. Yeah, and then we'll start clearing these parts. So yeah, let's get to it. So behind me is an oven that I've created to help these items cure. And I have a whole little hole cut in it over here with my heat gun stuffed in there. And we kept it about 120, 125 degrees for about an hour. Well, it says half hour, but you know, who's counting really? So yeah, so that's how I cure my parts, because it's 40 degrees outside. So all right, so here we can see our parts all cleared and looking pretty shiny. So you can see a couple of defects, especially on this side. They look like bubbles that were popped, like that one on the corner there. So yeah, I'm not really sure what happened there. It might have just been something inside of the resin or inside one of those little voids that we had before I cleared it that just came out with our heat gun. And I don't know if it would have happened with or without the heat gun, but this is what we ended up with. So I'll probably end up giving those a little bit of a wet sand and a polish, but I'd say that those are looking pretty good for now. That is pretty much what I was after. So now we have both sides. So we have a driver's side and our passenger side. So. I think that's where I'm going to end this video. I think these came out pretty good. They could definitely be better, a little bit more improvement on my mold making, a little more improvement on my cleanliness inside the shop when I'm clearing the items, and maybe just some better equipment overall. Like I could make myself a small oven, so there's a little bit less contamination. Me putting a box on top of fresh clear coat is probably not the best idea, but yeah, I hope you guys learned something. I hope you guys liked the video. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below, and I will get back to you on that. Yeah, see you guys in the next one.